Chosen one, listen carefully, this message you about to hear. The moment everything collapsed, you did not break by accident. What felt like the lowest point of your life was not failure. It was initiation. The moment you thought you were losing your mind was the moment your soul was being authorized to rise. When everything fell apart, it was precise. Friends vanished. Purpose blurred. Strength disappeared. But something else quietly activated inside you. This was not punishment. This was confirmation. The breakdown was the signal that the upgrade had already been installed. If this message feels personal, it is because it was meant to find you. The truth about the breakdown. Chosen ones do not awaken gently. They awaken through pressure, through isolation, through moments that strip away every false identity. Your breakdown was not weakness. It was your nervous system shedding an old frequency. Your soul could no longer fit inside the version of you that survived instead of lived. That exhaustion you felt was not laziness. It was the death of an outdated self. A self that could not go where you are now being called. Only those selected for more experience this level of inner collapse. Why your life had to fall apart. If your old life could have gone with you, it would have. But it could not survive the next level. So it was removed. Comfort had to disappear. Approval had to leave. Certainty had to collapse. Because chosen ones are not built on borrowed validation. What you lost was never aligned. What left was never permanent. The breakdown cleared space for alignment. This is why it happened all at once. The mark of a chosen one. You always felt different. Even as a child. Even before you had language for it. You questioned reality while others accepted it. You felt depth where others stayed shallow. You sensed truth before proof arrived. Chosen ones do not blend in. They disturb systems by existing. Their presence alone exposes what is false. That difference you tried to hide was the mark. Why the world tried to silence you. Systems are not built for awakened individuals. They are built for obedience, predictability, control. Your awareness threatened comfort. Your questions disrupted illusions. Your authenticity exposed lies people were not ready to face. So you were labeled, dismissed, misunderstood. Not because you were wrong, but because you were early. The upgrade you could not see. During the breakdown, something rewired. Your intuition sharpened. Your tolerance for nonsense vanished. Your attachment to external validation died. You stopped chasing. You started discerning. You stopped performing. You started remembering. Upgrades are silent. They happen in darkness, before any visible change appears. This is why you felt empty before feeling powerful. The loneliness of awakening. Chosen ones walk alone before they lead. Isolation is not rejection. It is preparation. You were separated so your voice could become clear. So your energy could stabilize. So your identity could solidify without interference. Not everyone can come with you. Not everyone should. Not everyone is meant to understand you. Loneliness was the training ground, the confirmation you were waiting for. If you are still standing after everything you survived, that is your confirmation. If you can see through illusions now, that is your confirmation. If you no longer fear losing what is not aligned, that is your confirmation. Breakdowns only destroy what is false. They cannot touch what is real. They cannot erase what is chosen. You were not disqualified. You were cleared. Step into who you are becoming. Stop questioning your worth. Stop minimizing your calling. Stop explaining your depth to people committed to the surface. You are not late. You are not lost. You are arriving. This is the chapter where you stop surviving and start embodying. Final activation and call. If this message reached you, your awakening is active. Honor it. Protect it. Walk with it. Do not shrink back into comfort. Do not betray your knowing. Do not abandon yourself again. If this spoke to your soul, like the video, comment your confirmation and subscribe to Return to Awakening. This is not content. This is remembrance, the shift after the storm. After the breakdown, you notice the silence. Not the peaceful kind at first, but the unsettling stillness where distractions stopped working. Noise no longer numbed you. Escapes no longer helped. This is when awareness sharpened. You started seeing patterns instead of problems, lessons instead of losses, truth instead of stories. The storm passed, but it left vision behind. When old DSIRES stopped calling you, things you once chased no longer excited you. Attention felt empty. Validation felt heavy. Crowds felt draining. This was not boredom. It was elevation. Your spirit outgrew what once entertained your wounds. Chosen ones do not ascend by adding more. They ascend by needing less. The discipline of inner separation. You became selective without trying. Your energy started protecting itself. Your time became sacred. You no longer explained yourself to be understood. You no longer chased closure. You no longer forced alignment. This discipline was not learned. It was activated. Why you see through people now. You began to notice what is unsaid. Motives behind smiles. Fear behind aggression. This perception is not judgment. It is discernment. A responsibility that comes with awakening. Chosen ones are trained to read energy, not excuses. The death of the old identity. The version of you that tolerated disrespect faded. The version that overgave disappeared. The version that shrank to belong dissolved. This loss felt confusing, because identity deaths feel like emptiness before clarity arrives. But what left was never your essence. What remained was truth. The quiet confidence emerging. You no longer announce your strength. You embody it. You no longer prove your worth. You move with certainty. This confidence is not loud. It is grounded. It does not compete. It does not rush. It knows timing is divine. Why triggers lost their power? Things that once controlled your emotions now pass through you. You observe instead of react. You respond instead of explode. This is mastery. Not suppression. Not numbness. But command. The breakdown trained you here. The responsibility of knowing. Awakening is not comfort. It is accountability. You can no longer pretend you do not see. You are responsible for your thoughts, your choices, your direction. This is why ignorance no longer fits you. When purpose STRTS WHISPRING. Purpose does not shout. It whispers during stillness, during discipline, during solitude. You feel pulled, not pushed, called, not forced, aligned, not pressured. This is how chosen paths reveal themselves. The strength you built in silence. No one saw the nights you questioned everything. No one felt the weight you carried alone. No one knew how close you were to giving up. But that is where strength was forged. In private. In patience. In trust. Silent growth creates unshakable foundations, the separation that made you stronger. You notice distance forming without effort. Not out of anger. Not out of ego. But out of clarity. Certain conversations no longer resonated. Certain connections felt heavy, not because others were wrong, but because you had shifted. Chosen ones are not meant to stay accessible to everyone. Why your patience deepened. You stopped rushing outcomes, stopped forcing timelines, stopped begging life to move faster. You learned that what is meant cannot miss you, that what is delayed is often being refined, that divine timing does not respond to anxiety. Patience became your power. The loss of fear-based DCSINS. You no longer choose from fear of loss. You no longer cling to what drains you. You no longer stay where your spirit suffocates. Fear once dictated your moves. Now awareness does. Now discernment does. This shift changed everything. When you stopped seeking permission, you stopped asking others who you are allowed to become. Stopped shrinking your vision to be digestible. Stopped waiting for approval to move forward. Chosen ones are authorized internally. Their permission comes from within, from knowing, not consensus. This is why confidence replaced doubt. The internal REWRING continues. Even now, transformation is ongoing. You are still shedding layers, still releasing outdated beliefs, still refining alignment. Awakening is not a moment. It is a process, a continual return to truth. You are not finished. Why peace matters more now. Drama lost its grip on you. Chaos no longer excites you. You value calm over control. Peace became your compass. If it costs peace, it costs too much. This rule protects your energy. Chosen ones guard stillness fiercely. The shift in how you see struggle. You no longer ask why this happened to you. You ask what it is shaping in you, what it is teaching you. Struggle became a tool, not a curse. Pressure became preparation. Resistance became refinement. This perspective marked maturity. The moment you, REALIZED, could trust yourself. Doubt loosened its grip. Intuition grew louder. Decisions felt cleaner. You stopped outsourcing truth. Stopped ignoring inner warnings. Stopped betraying your knowing. Trust returned where fear once lived. The calm before the next expansion. You may feel still right now. Not stuck. Not lost. Just steady. This calm is not an ending. It is integration. The pause before movement. Expansion always follows grounding, the new way you handle conflict. You no longer fight to be understood. You let misunderstanding reveal alignment. You choose clarity over chaos. Arguments stopped feeling necessary. Silence became informative. Distance became self-respect. Chosen ones do not waste energy proving truth. When controlled, DISSOLVD, you release the need to manage outcomes, to predict reactions, to force security. Surrender replaced resistance. Trust replaced tension. Flow replaced force. This was not giving up. It was leveling up. The inner authority, AWAKNED. You stopped seeking signs outside of yourself. You became the sign. Your alignment became the answer. Decisions now feel anchored, grounded, clean. Inner authority is the hallmark of awakening. Why your energy feels different to others. People sense the shift before you speak. Some feel drawn. Others feel uncomfortable. Your presence mirrors truth. And truth is confrontational to illusion. This is why reactions changed around you. The end of people-pleasing. You no longer contort yourself to keep peace. You no longer apologize for boundaries. You no longer abandon yourself for acceptance. Authenticity replaced accommodation. Integrity replaced approval. Chosen ones choose truth even when it costs. When the past stopped defining you, old stories lost their power. Old labels fell away. Old mistakes no longer haunted you. You stopped introducing yourself through pain. You stopped living from memory. You started living from awareness. This was liberation. The stillness that builds power. You move slower now. More intentional. More present. Stillness sharpened your perception. Silence strengthened your voice. Power no longer rushes. Why you attract fewer but deeper connections. Surface bonds faded. Depth became non-negotiable. Truth became the entry point. You are no longer interested in many. You are aligned with few. Chosen ones are built for impact, not crowds. The quiet knowing of what comes next. You may not see the full picture yet, but you feel direction. A pull forward. This knowing does not shout. It anchors. You trust the unfolding, the refinement of your voice. You speak less, but every word carries weight. You no longer feel silence to be comfortable. You let truth land without decoration. Your voice became intentional, measured, aligned. Chosen ones understand that words shape realities. When urgency left your body, you stopped living in reaction mode, stopped rushing decisions, stopped panicking about outcomes. Urgency dissolved into presence. Presence turned into clarity. Clarity turned into power. Nothing aligned ever needs to be rushed. The shift from survival to sovereignty. You are no longer operating from wounds. You are no longer led by fear. You are no longer shrinking to stay safe. Survival trained you. Sovereignty activated you. This is the difference between enduring and embodying. Why you could stand alone without feeling lonely. Solitude stopped feeling like punishment. It became communion. A space where you hear yourself clearly. You realized you are not missing anything. You are becoming everything you need. Chosen ones are complete before they connect. The end of seeking external savors. You no longer wait to be rescued. You no longer expect others to understand your depth. You no longer hand over your power. Support is welcomed. Dependence is not. This is self-mastery. When your nervous system finally settled, your body caught up with your awakening. Breath deepened. Sleep stabilized. Peace moved from concept to experience. From idea to embodiment. Healing integrated where chaos once lived. The alignment between mind and spirit. Thought slowed. Intuition sharpened. Action became clean. You no longer live divided. Your inner world and outer steps now agree. This coherence is rare. The magnetism you did not try to create. Opportunities find you. Conversations open doors. Moments align effortlessly. Not because you chased them, but because you matched them. Alignment attracts without effort. The quiet certainty that you are ready. There is no rush to prove anything. No need to announce arrival. No craving for validation. You feel it internally. A grounded readiness. You know the breakdown is behind you, the shift in how you view success. Success no longer looks like noise or applause. It looks like alignment, consistency, inner peace. You stopped chasing symbols. You started embodying substance. This redefinition changed your direction. Chosen ones build quietly before they are seen. When comparison lost its grip, other paths no longer distract you. Other timelines no longer pressure you. Other victories no longer trigger doubt. You realized comparison was a distraction from calling, a thief of presence, a distortion of purpose. You returned focus to your lane, the discernment of where to give energy. You became intentional with attention, selective with effort, protective of focus. Not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves access. Not every invitation is alignment. Energy is sacred currency now. The moment you stopped rescuing others, you realized not everyone wants to be saved. Some are committed to their wounds. Some are loyal to their pain. You released responsibility that was never yours. Compassion remained. Control dissolved. This freed you immensely. Why rest became non-negotiable. You learned that rest is not weakness. It is integration. It is wisdom. Burnout no longer impressed you. Balance did. Sustainability did. Chosen ones protect longevity. The clarity of your mission. You may not have all the details, but the direction is undeniable. There is something you are here to contribute. It aligns with your pain, your insight, your lived truth. Purpose always grows from experience. The way life responds differently now. Resistance lessened. Doors opened quietly. Support appeared unexpectedly. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped moving against yourself. Alignment creates cooperation. The strength of not needing to explain. You no longer justify your choices. You no longer overshare your vision. You let results speak. Silence became strategic. Privacy became power. Chosen ones move unseen until necessary. The internal peace that cannot be shaken. Even when challenges arise, you remain centered. Even when uncertainty appears, you stay grounded. Peace is no longer situational. It is internal. This is true stability, the way you respond to the unknown. Uncertainty no longer paralyzes you. It invites curiosity. It sharpens awareness. You learn that the unknown is not empty. It is creative space, a field where new realities form. Chosen ones are comfortable standing where answers are still unfolding. When faith replaced the need for proof, you stopped demanding guarantees, stopped waiting for certainty before moving, stopped needing validation from outcomes. Faith became internal alignment, trust without evidence, movement without fear. This is higher consciousness, the release of old emotional chains. Resentment loosened, regret softened, anger transformed into understanding. Not because what happened was acceptable, but because carrying it no longer served you. Freedom required release. The depth of compassion you developed. You understand pain without excusing harm. You see wounds without absorbing them. You empathize without self-betrayal. Compassion matured into wisdom. Boundaries refined love. Chosen ones love clearly, not blindly. Why you no longer fear being misunderstood. You accepted that truth does not need agreement. That resonance matters more than popularity. That alignment matters more than applause. Misunderstanding stopped feeling like rejection. It became information. You stayed rooted. The moment you stopped looking back, nostalgia lost its pull. Old chapters closed emotionally. Memory stopped dictating direction. You honored the past without living there. Presence became home. This is integration. The confidence of moving without announcement. You no longer broadcast plans. You execute quietly. You let energy move first. This silence is not secrecy. It is focus. Chosen ones protect momentum. The subtle expansion still happening. Even now, layers are shifting. Beliefs are recalibrating. Capacity is increasing. Growth did not stop. It simply became less dramatic. Stability replaced chaos. The knowing that you cannot me this. There is no going back. No returning to sleep. No shrinking into old patterns. Once awakened, awareness remains. Once upgraded, systems do not downgrade. You move forward differently now. The relationship you now have with time. Time no longer feels like an enemy. You stopped racing it. You stopped fearing it. Moments slowed. Presence deepened. You learned that alignment bends time in your favor. Chosen ones move in rhythm, not pressure. When you realize everything taught you. Nothing feels wasted anymore. Not the pain. Not the delay. Not the detours. Each experience refined perception. Each setback sharpened discernment. Wisdom replaced regret. The way you hold power now. You no longer misuse strength to dominate. You no longer hide it to be liked. You hold it with responsibility. Power became stewardship. Awareness became leadership. This is mature authority. Why you no longer chase clarity. You allow clarity to reveal itself. Through action. Through stillness. Through alignment. Forcing answers only creates noise. Listening creates truth. You learn to wait without stagnating. The stability you built internally. External shifts no longer destabilize you. Circumstances change. Core remains steady. You are anchored internally. Rooted beyond conditions. This is unshakable grounding. When you stopped identifying with struggle, you are no longer your trauma. No longer your hardships. No longer your survival story. You honor what shaped you. But you do not live there. Identity evolved. The authenticity people feel in you. You no longer perform wholeness. You embody it. You no longer preach truth. You live it. Authenticity carries a frequency words cannot replicate. This is why you are felt before heard. The inner expansion you for more. Capacity increased quietly. Responsibility expanded naturally. Vision widened without force. You are being prepared for greater impact. Without overwhelm. The recognition of who you have become. You may not fully articulate it yet, but you sense the shift. The person who entered the breakdown no longer exists, and the one standing now is ready. The way you navigate TRNSITONS now. Change no longer threatens your identity. It refines it. You move through transitions with awareness instead of resistance. You learned how to release without collapsing. How to adapt without losing self. Chosen ones evolve without self-betrayal. When simplicity became a strength, you stripped life down to essentials. Clarity replaced clutter. Meaning replaced excess. You realized complexity often hides avoidance. Simplicity reveals truth. Your life became lighter. The respect you have for your energy. You no longer overextend. You no longer overexplain. You no longer overgive. Energy management became self-respect. Self-respect became peace. This boundary changed your trajectory. Why you trust stillness more than movement. You learned that action without alignment creates exhaustion. Stillness without fear creates direction. You wait until movement feels clean. Until intention and timing agree. Chosen ones move when ready, not rushed. The end of seeking to be understood by everyone. You accepted that depth intimidates some. That awareness disrupts comfort. You stopped translating your soul for convenience. Resonance became the requirement. This acceptance freed you. The way you hold hope now. Hope is no longer desperate. It is grounded, stable. You trust life without clinging. You believe without bargaining. Faith matured into knowing. The internal leadership that emerged. You lead yourself with honesty, with discipline, with compassion. Self-leadership replaced self-criticism. This is inner authority in action. The quiet alignment before visibility. You may feel unseen right now, not overlooked, but incubating. This is not delay. This is calibration. Visibility follows integration. The certainty that your path is unrepeatable. No one can replicate your journey. No one can replace your perspective. Your path is specific, intentional, necessary. This knowing anchors you, the way you respond to setbacks now. Setbacks no longer trigger collapse. They invite assessment. You adjust without self-attack. You ask better questions. You move smarter. You remain centered. Resilience matured into strategy. When emotional maturity set in, you stopped reacting from wounds. You started responding from awareness. You hold emotions without letting them rule. Feelings became information, not identity. This mastery changed your inner world. The shift from needing results to trusting process. You no longer obsess over outcomes. You stay committed to alignment. You let results follow naturally. Process became the practice. Practice became progress. Chosen ones respect unfolding. Why you no longer chase intensity. Chaos lost its appeal. Emotional highs stopped defining passion. You choose depth over drama. Consistency over spikes. Stability became sacred. The strength of saying no without guilt. You declined without explanation. You protected space without apology. Guilt dissolved. Clarity remained. Boundaries strengthened self-trust. The refined relationship with desire. You want without attachment. You pursue without desperation. Desire aligned with purpose. Wanting became clean. This balance is rare. The way you hold vision now. Vision is no longer fantasy. It is direction. You act in small, precise steps. You build steadily. Grounded vision outlasts inspiration. The understanding that this is a lifelong path. Awakening is not a peak. It is a way of being. There is no finish line. Only deeper alignment. You walk forward aware, the way you experience joy now. Joy feels quieter, deeper, less dependent on circumstances. It shows up in presence, in alignment, in moments of truth. This joy is sustainable. When gratitude became natural, you no longer force appreciation. It arises organically. You see value where you once saw lack. You recognize growth where you once saw delay. Perspective reshaped emotion. The shift in how you perceive others. You stopped projecting expectations. You see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. This realism softened disappointment and strengthened discernment. Acceptance replaced illusion. Why you no longer fear losing anything. What is aligned cannot be taken. What is not aligned can leave. You trust this law. You live without clinging. Freedom followed. The way you measure progress. Progress is no longer speed. It is integrity, consistency, self-honesty. You measure growth internally. Externally follows. This keeps you grounded. The inner harmony you now live from. Mind and heart cooperate. Thought and intuition align. You are no longer divided. Wholeness replaced fragmentation. This harmony is powerful. The subtle confidence that never wavers. Confidence no longer spikes. It remains steady. It does not depend on praise. It does not collapse with critique. This is self-trust embodied. The preparation you feel without DTLS. You sense readiness without clarity. You feel equipped without knowing why. Life is positioning you. Quietly, you stay open, the final realization. Everything you endured was precise. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. The breakdown was not the end of you. It was the final confirmation that you were ready to carry more. More truth. More responsibility. More impact. You were never being destroyed. You were being authorized. Step fully into your upgrade. Stop questioning what you survived. Stop doubting what you sensed. Stop minimizing what you have become. You are not here to return to who you were. You are here to embody who you awakened into. Stand in it. Walk in it. Honor it. This level requires courage, discipline, and faith in what you know without proof. If this message spoke directly to your soul, this is your confirmation. Acknowledge it by liking this video. Claim it by commenting, "I am ready." Strengthen this path by subscribing to Return to Awakening. You did not find this by accident, and you will not rise by coincidence.